Jafri's quest. What is the purpose of life? What is the truth? What is philosophy? Is there a God? How should we live? What comes after death? Let's join Jafri in his quest. Episode 3, Bhagwad Gita. Bhagwad Gita is a great dialogue encompassed in the famous Indian epic of Mahabharata. Composed by the sage Vyasa, it is one of the oldest known religious books. Battleground between the cousin clans, the Kauravas and the Pandavas. 5,000 years ago, in modern day India, the two mighty armies, the Pandavas and the Kauravas, are lined up against each other. Arjun, the greatest warrior of his clan, the Pandavas, has a moral dilemma. The enemy he faces are also his kinsmen and teachers. Although Arjun has been wronged, but he is perplexed whether it would be worth killing his own kinsmen in exchange of justice and worldly gains. The great dialogue. Lord Krishna, the reincarnate of the supreme deity Vishnu, explains to Arjun that the reason why he should go ahead and fight. Krishna educates Arjun about the true nature of the soul and the importance of selfless actions, which result in a great dialogue preserved in Bhagwad Gita. Transmigration of souls. Krishna advises Arjun that the wise do not grieve for either dead or living. The soul is imperishable and indestructible. Just like a body undergoes through different transformations from youth to old age, the soul transmigrates to another body at death. Non permanence of happiness and sorrow. Happiness and sorrow are non permanent, like winter and summer seasons. These must be tolerated in order to achieve liberation. Karma Yoga. Selfless actions. Actions in anticipation of the results lead to bondage of work. Therefore, one must perform the prescribed duties irrespective of results. Actions like sacrifice, charity, and penance are prescribed duties which should never be abandoned. Krishna advises Arjun to perform his prescribed duty as a warrior and fight for justice. Attachment to objects. Attachment to the fruit of activities develops lust, which brings forth anger, which brings delusion and bewilderment of the mind. Just like a boat can be swept away by strong winds, the attachment to objects can sweep the most determined of the minds. The sage of the steady mind. One must act without attachment to the fruit of activities, and should be transcendental to all material modes, and must strive for self realization. Such a person withdraws himself from sense objects, like a tortoise draws its limbs into the shell. Such a person is called the sage of the steady mind. He is indifferent to both happiness and sorrow and achieves divine consciousness. Action or renunciation? What is preferable? Krishna explains that people try to attain self realization through either renunciation or prescribed action. However, the path of action is superior, although both of these courses lead to the same goal. Krishna gives his example that although he is in not need of anything, yet he performs his prescribed actions of sustaining the universe, because if he doesn't take his prescribed actions, the world will be destroyed. Lust, an enemy of wisdom. He describes lust as an eternal enemy of wisdom, and just like the smoke engulfs the fire, and the womb covers the embryo, the lust covers the intelligence. The lust can be controlled through transcendental intelligence. Transcendental intelligence. Krishna reveals that he first taught the transcendental knowledge to the sun god, through whom it passed through successive generations of sages until it was lost, but is now being narrated to Arjun. A totally baffled Arjun asks how Krishna could have narrated to the sun god, since the sun god existed eons before him. Krishna replied that both Arjun and Krishna have had many births before, but while Arjun is unaware of those, Krishna knows all due to his transcendental intelligence. Krishna further explains that when the world is filled with injustice, Krishna reincarnates to restore peace and justice. The yoga of knowledge. The supreme deity can be known by practicing yoga in divine consciousness. A person who is fully absorbed in divine consciousness or self realization attains the spiritual kingdom and sees dirt and gold equally. Brahman, Atman, and the Karma. Brahman is the indestructible supreme entity or the super soul. The original spiritual nature is the Atman, the self. Karma produces birth, life, and death. Through actions in devotion to the supreme deity, a person is relieved of the cycle of birth and death and achieves the highest level, that is, integration with the super soul, the Brahman. Krishna reveals his divine form. Krishna finally reveals his universal form to Arjun. It was like the effulgence of 1,000 suns. This form entailed the entire universe and the demigods. Material nature, Prakriti. The material nature, the Prakriti, consists of fire, water, earth, air, space, mind, intelligence, and false ego, and the sense objects, which are the bodily attributes. Three modes of material nature: sattva, rajas, and tamas. The three modes of material nature, the sattva, goodness, rajas, passion, and tamas, the ignorance, bind the soul to the body. Goodness gives knowledge and happiness. An individual that dies in this mode attains the higher planets of intellect and is born among the saints. Passion binds the body to the fruit of actions, which brings greed and lust. An individual that dies in this mode is reborn in the same cycle of birth and death. Ignorance binds the body through delusion and darkness and covers the knowledge. An individual that dies in this mode is reborn among the animals. By transcending these three modes, a person is liberated from the miserable cycle of birth and death and becomes immortal. The divine and demonic natures. The divine nature possesses qualities like fearlessness, charity, spiritual knowledge, compassion, temperance, and cleanliness, while demonic nature possesses qualities like anger, pride, lust, and ignorance. The demonic beings believe that the end goal of the life is sense gratification and to follow the lust, which causes harm and destruction. Lust, anger, and greed are the gateways to the hell. The four classes of people and the prescribed duties. There are four classes of people with prescribed duties: Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. The Brahmins work according to qualities like peace, austerity, and wisdom. The Kshatriyas are endowed with heroism and courage and leadership. Vaishyas are endowed with commerce, and the Shudras with service to others. Heeding to Krishna's advice, Arjun performs his prescribed duty of fighting injustice and wins the great battle of Kurukshetra. The end. This concludes our video. If you found this video interesting, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel.